welcome to Pro Modeler. Sorry about last week. As I say, lots of things happened like that. The forum's now back up and running. It's in new format, new style, does new things, everything else like that. Don't forget you can put all your bits and pieces onto it now. It's far more integrated and all the rest of it. Seems to be up and running okay. I know there is issues with editing posts at the moment. Still trying to sort that one out, and I'm still trying to get the a reply button top on bottom, so you don't have to scroll all the way up to the top, so we do know about that. So thanks for bearing with us. As I say, a bit hectic last weekend, and obviously the beginning of this week getting sorted up and doing that. Okay, so I've been asked this week about my version of Mr. Surfacer, this liquid putty that I have that you see in a lot of my builds. Basically, as you say, it's all runny, it's all gluey, you paint it on, it dries, away you go. How do I make it? Obviously you could buy Mr. Surfacer, but if you join me over here now, I'll show you how I make it. Okay, so your basic materials, you're going to need a putty. Squadron Green is a good one. Tamiya does it just as well, or anybody else's really. A type of thinner. For the moment here, this is airbrush cleaner, but basically it's just lacquer thinners as that. You're going to need a pot to put it in. Now what I usually do, and what this is just an old Tamiya pot, wash it out. Anybody's used to use guns, whatever. A glass one is better, because it will, you know, we are dealing with cellulose thinner, so it might melt through, so you have to be a bit careful. In this case, I've just got one of my little wash cups that I use. We'll do it so you can see it being basically made in here. So all you do, you take your green putty. Okay, so you just come along with your dish and just give it a good squirt of it in there, just like that. Okay, so we'll pop the lid back on that one, keep that one all safe. Okay, then you just come along with our thinners. Okay, and we're just going to put a drop in there like that. Okay, then normally if you were doing this into a glass jar, you could just put it in and give it a shake for a couple of minutes and you'll be absolutely fine. But what will happen is this will melt down now. So if I bring you in a little bit, you can see perhaps a little bit clearer. Remove that one. As you can see, we just give this a whiz round. And as you might be able to see already, it's breaking down. And I've probably put a little bit too much thinners in there. But if you do, don't panic about it too much. Once you've got rid of all the lumps and bumps and all the rest of it, if you just let it stand in the colour cup, obviously it will evaporate. Bit smelly, you know, admittedly, but it will just break it down in the colour cup, as I've got it here, or it just normally, and then as it evaporates, it will just get thicker and thicker and thicker. So as I say, I've over watered that a little bit, but if you used to leave it, it would be absolutely fine. And then all you do is add, if you wanted to, like here, what I'll do is, because I'll mix up some more to go in there, we get a little bit more green, Squadron Green, put in another good dollop, just like that. Okay, and obviously we're just mixing around with a brush. Just in here, just like this. It will just takes a bit of mixing. So I'll just carry on mixing this for a bit. So there we go, all sorted, just in the cup like that. Then obviously you can just come along and brush that out. Now you could use IPA, it's not quite as aggressive, but that is the trouble. It's probably going to take you quite a while to do it. It's nice to have quite an aggressive one and do it, but you can do it with IPA. It just takes a lot longer and a lot more work. So if you've been following the builds I've been doing, where I've been doing this thing, making seamless air intakes using this on the weld action, it's a great babe, but literally you just come along then, and obviously it's on our brush, just like this, and then obviously you just come along with your model, paint it on, let it dry. The thing you are going to have to watch with it if you're doing it this way is watch the plastics it's going to go on and touch, because it will melt them. So i.e. brush this on and let it dry totally. Don't go around brushing it all over, because you will end up melting the surface of your paint. Fine if you're doing it as we did the air intakes on the F-16 builds, where we've actually gone in there and deliberately done that. But if you're not, then obviously be a bit careful with it. Obviously with this one, what I'll do is I'll mix it with my other stuff, which is to say it's just exactly the same. It's in there, it's just a gloopy consistency. So I'll just pour this one in here. In it goes. Now the cleanup for obviously using this stuff is thinners again. Obviously just a little bit either IPA thinners, which is basically your pure alcohol. There we go, I've got a nice full cup now. and that's great for doing any little imperfections, and also it dries very quick. Thing to remember, shrinkage. It will shrink back a little bit, so you have to be a bit careful. But that's your basics of making my Mr. Surfacer. Okay, don't forget the competition on the site. Selection of DVDs, you can pick whichever ones you want. The flanker one will be amongst there, and there's airbrushing ones and new ones that are coming out any minute. Set of 6 watches, t-shirt, you get the Pro Modelers t-shirt, sticker thing, and don't forget the mug, obviously. A very handy thing to have on your modelling desk. Okay, no jokey thing at the end of this week's one. We'll get back to that next week. I've got a few cock-ups I made this week which you'll enjoy. Last week, as you probably tell, I was a little bit stressed because I had loads and loads of things getting on and everything else like that, and going down with flu and various bits and pieces. But anyway, I've had loads and loads of emails from you, basically saying how great it is and everything I do and all the rest of it. When I started out this Pro Modelers site, which is almost a year old, and it's present, guys. We had a site before, obviously, but the new one is what you guys are seeing now, and we do the videos and it's subscription. You guys are making the site. That's the whole point to all of this. When I started it out, I wanted it to be different from everybody else's. No disrespect to all the other sites, I'm around them as well, but I wanted it to be slightly different. That's why we've got the rules in place that actually say we don't say anything about religion, we don't say anything about, you know, obviously wars, conflicts, things like that. Everything is totally banned on the site. So we talk about everything else, but we keep all those things nicely aside. And the reason why is it stops conflict, it stops people having opinions and all the rest of it. And what I wanted it to do is to be sort of just like a big group of family of friends, if you like. And I think that's what we've got now. We've got 350 in the forum. There's a few more, obviously, guys who don't use the forum, but if you don't, you really ought to, because we are very nice in there. And I just wanted it to be a place where literally there's enough troubles going on in the world at the moment, and we've all got our lives as well, and you know, perhaps you had a bad day and everything else, or life's not going right, where literally you can sit down, talk to people on the group, the forums, you watch me blab on for hours on end, and you just get you out of it for a bit. And that's really what I just try and do, you know. And everyone's saying about that, you know, obviously the amount of work and hours I put in and all the rest of it. I don't see this as work. I get paid to do my hobby, you know, and the site's doing fantastically well, better than I ever could have thought. The wash sales are doing great as well, and then the other bits and pieces that we do with the DVDs and that, it's all doing great, you know. And at the end of the day, if the site's paying for itself, then I'm quite happy for it to do that. And you guys really are thanking me, but it's not me, it's you. It's you guys who actually make the site. You know, we've got moderators and things like that. I don't think I've only had one occasion where we've had to pull in and pull a joke out, but that's only because it was in breach of one of the, you know, the rules about religion and conflicts and things like that. And apart from that, we've never had anybody have an argument on the site in a whole year now. So I think that's quite a hats off to you guys, not to me. You know, I just do this and I don't know, as I say, ruin the forum as I've done last week and try to get it back on track. But really, you guys have been emailing me saying and thanking me. It's not me, it's you. You know, I just put it all together, then you guys all get on with it. You know, I wish I had a bit more time to be in the forum and to chat about things, and certainly get in the chat room more than I do. But I'm always around in the background watching what's going on and reading and all the rest of it. But because I'm editing and doing other bits and pieces, I don't have the amount of time I'd like to concentrate there. But really, this is me throwing all those praise you've given me this last week and emails, and honestly I must have had over 100 now. This all goes back to you, because it is you guys that make the site what it is. And you know, obviously, no disrespect to anyone else's site, but I know ours is the best purely because of the group of people we've got in there. So a big hats off to all of you guys. You have made Pro Modeler what it is. Pro Modeler is one of the friendliest places and knowledgeable places on the net, bar none. And it's not because we've got good modelers in there, it's that we've got modelers with good ideas who are open and honest. And it's a bit like when we need something, somebody breaks apart, everybody jumps on and says, oh, I've got one, you know, how much for it? Don't be stupid, just have it. And that's what we all do, and it makes for a nice, fantastic family atmosphere. So there you go, guys. This is today's passing thought. Thanks to you guys. I hope it continues. I hope it grows big whilst being so friendly as it is, because if it starts to get big and we start to lose it slightly, you know, that'll be very upsetting. So I don't mind it getting bigger as long as we can keep the sort of friendliness and everything else. So thanks to you guys, and I'll see you next week.